announcement on many stations. Check it out today. Use your program to promote yourself, your business, or someone else's business. Call Lola Jean, the broadcast queen, 727-510-7622. That's 510-7622. Call Lola Jean now to check out your Tan Talk network program. In addition to network radio, we'll stream your program in audio and video all over the world. Call Lola Jean now, 727-510-7622. Call today. Your network one-hour program can start tomorrow. Broadcast your message in audio and video on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Are you a writer, inventor? Do you have questions about your intellectual property rights? Well, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 11 o'clock for Joy on Paper. Once a month, I will have a special guest, the writer's legal eagle, Bill Larson of Larson & Larson, who can answer your questions. Protect your valuable work. Email me your questions to patsy.radio@gmail.com and then listen in every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. right here on Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network. That's patsy.radio@gmail.com.
Tune in to the Shrink and Wrap Show here on Tan Talk Radio.
Our stories and our topics will include, but are not limited to, everyday issues. We're here for you, for our listeners. We want to know what's important to you.
So again, don't miss us
on Tan Talk Radio. Tune in again, Shrink and Wrap Show.
We'll see you then.
That's the Shrink and Wrap Show every Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello there, Tampa Bay. This is former NFL and college football coach Jimmy Johnson. Listen to the Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They can sure use the attention.
And this is former Major League Baseball player, Hall of Famer Wade Boggs. I also hope you listen to the Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They can darn sure use the money.
Hi there. This is marine wildlife artist and conservationist Dr. Guy Harvey. Please listen to the Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They need to feel worthy.
Hey, you new to the area or just want to know about the best hidden gems and upcoming events? Stay tuned. Be Local Buzz with Devin takes you to these places, introduces you to the best businesses, and tells you about upcoming buzz. Preset your radio to Tan Talk 1340 AM or 106.1 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. That is the Be Local Buzz with Devin on Tan Talk 1340 AM and 106 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. Looking forward to speaking with you.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk. Entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
Imagine, if you will, submitted for your approval, several enigmatic tales and stories on a very curious radio show. The signpost up ahead reads that you have entered the ozone. Oh, yeah. The Big O's back. The Big O is back. I was down in Miami for a couple of weeks, taking care of some business, both personal and professional, at the Marlins games and also visiting mom and dad. But welcome to the Ozone. I'm your host, Big O, Orestes Destrade. And for the next few minutes here until 7:30 hour, along with my producer, the Super Sully, we'll be bringing you the good, the bad, and the ugly in the world of sports and beyond the world of sports. So by all means, hang out, pull up a chair, or pull us up on your drive right now back home or wherever you are. And we're brought to you by the Chapters Network, of course, via StreamYard.com. So pop on there if you get a chance. And of course, the storied Tan Talk 1340, been here for a long time. I'm at the studios right now, and you can pop it on also at 106.1 on the FM dial. You can also reach us via a call-in. So by all means, feel free to call in, ask any questions you want in the world of sports and beyond, as I call it. Doesn't have to necessarily be sports, but that tends to be my sweet spot, my 3-0 fastball, if you will. You can reach the 727-441-3000. 727-441-3000 or toll free at 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340. So let's dive in. There's a couple things that I'm going to be tackling on the show here while I have you. And one is going to be really about the curiosity of how sports works. the nature of sports and the mentality of it, which I think honestly kind of carries over sometimes into even life. And I'm going, as a baby boomer as that I am, that, I think sometimes the youth, there's that saying that the youth is wasted on the young. Sometimes those young bucks in the world of sports and even in life, but I'm going to stick strictly to the world of sports, can be just a little out there sometimes with some of their comments and some of the things they say. And it could definitely become a backlash situation. I love NBA basketball in the playoffs. Not a big guy when it comes to, regular season. It's just too many games and trying to follow it. I'll watch a little bit more. Regular season, I watch NCAA basketball. I like going to college basketball games. March Madness is great, but I really like college basketball in their regular seasons. And then I also like the NBA in the postseason.
Who's your school?
My school that I used to love to watch, Sully, is University of Miami. I've always watched them. They made a great run this year. The U.
Gotta love the U.
I gotta love the U. But I'm an old school guy too when it comes to, as my dad and I used to love UCLA. UCLA back in the day. I've been a big UCLA guy. They haven't been as strong as they used to be, though. They had a nice little run this year. Also a big fan of Krzyzewski over there at Duke, North Carolina, all of that.
So you read my mind. I'm a Duke guy.
Are you a Duke guy?
Yes,
I know you're from the New York area.
I'm a New Yorker, but my dad really liked Coach K, so that's how I got into it.
I got you. I didn't know if maybe you were, a Villanova guy or.
Which is funny you say that. I have cousins that live right down the block from the Villanova campus, but no, for me, it was growing up with Christian Laettner, Grant Hill. I was a Duke guy.
No doubt. But what's interesting in the NBA playoffs this year that just came about, and it kind of is what I wanted to touch on a little bit, is how young bucks have been basically ticking off the older guys. So just think back of a week or so ago, Dylan Brooks comes out and calls the GOAT, or one of arguably the GOAT of the NBA, LeBron James. He's old. I poke bears. He's old, and until you drop a 40 on me, I ain't gonna give you the respect. Trying to be kind of catchy. Well, people don't realize, having been at the level that I've been at with reference to Major League Baseball and the higher levels, and even if you can go in the amateur ranks, that bulletin board information can create madness. So what did LeBron do and his teammates? They just crushed them in Game 7. And you know what? They dropped that 40. They ended up beating him 125-85. So there was an example of a young buck, even though he's kind of a little bit more of a veteran in the NBA. He already has a few years under his belt, but still, compared to the 38-year-old LeBron, a buck, a young guy, going out there and saying he's old. Big mistake. One more. Just recently this weekend, after Sacramento Kings come back, they go up 2-0, they lose 3, and then they run through the Golden State Warriors in Game 6, and it was like, oh my gosh, they're back. The young kids with the fresh legs, they're back. And Malik Monk, one of their stars, not their main star, John Morant, of course, goes out and says, basically, oh, we got fresher legs. They're older. And that's what it is, because we ended up having a shorter turnaround in games. Well, you know what happened? Another short turnaround, but the Golden State Warriors dropped a victory at Sacramento. So I was just curious, and welcome your thoughts on that. But bottom line, sometimes be careful what you preach, because if not, you're going to get teached. And exactly what happened to those kids, because they were thinking that, we can go out there. And remember, in this day and age, I say it not only in the sports world, but even in life, because of social media, because of the availability of information right away and the bulletin board goes mad when it goes not only on the locker room, but in social media, in Twitter, in Instagram, in YouTube. So there's so many ways that if you don't watch your step, watch your mouth more than anything, you get in a lot of trouble. And I go back to what I started with. I'm a baby boomer. And here's the deal. If you still have talent in something that you do, especially at the major level of sports, that a Steph Curry who's 35 and a LeBron James who's 38, which normally at that incredible type of sport, that is a pounding sport, running up and down and getting beat up in 82-game season, you can, think that they're done. Even in life, you might think that somebody, can't do a job. I tell you what, you got to be careful, because if you still got the talent and you get infused with a little bit of you can't do it, you're too old, that combination, I know it's worked for me in my life, both on and off the field. That gives me that gumption. That gives me that interest of wanting to do something even more. And that was a great example, just in a week span, in a few days span, hours span, of two guys, Dylan Brooks and Malik Monk, kind of teasing the old guys, quote unquote, and getting it handed right to them. Hey, listen, coming on the line is my buddy and my nephew and my beloved nephew. He is like my cuz, and that is the one another Albert 2.0, Orestes Destrade, who I believe is kind of like the man on the scene on me right now, because if I'm not mistaken, Al D, you're at the Marlins Stadium at Lone Depot Ballpark. I hear it in the background right now. There must be 45,000 people there with a Atlanta Braves #1 in the NL East and the Marlins right behind them, right? 45,000, or am I wrong?
Listen, there are certainly hundreds and hundreds of fans here.
4,500?
I can't tell you exactly how many hundreds.
But you can see them all. But you can see them all eye to eye.
Yeah, I mean, I might have more Instagram followers than the people that are here.
I know you do.
It's kind of close. But I'm watching a nice National League East matchup. The Atlanta Braves are taking on the Miami Marlins. The Braves actually just dropped a crooked number on Braxton Garrett. They put up a 7 spot in the second here. Marcelo Zuna, former Marlin great, actually hit a grand slam and got quite an interesting collection of calls from the crowd, razzing him about his struggles in the last year and a half,
sure,
both professionally and personally. But
yes, on and
it's
off
a fun
the field.
atmosphere for sure.
No
it's
doubt.
a fun atmosphere for sure.
It's interesting, just for a minute to touch on. So we've got the Marlins, who have been upstart this year. They're ahead of the Phillies. They've been playing right around 500 baseball. You got the Atlanta Braves, who I consider probably the best all-around roster in both leagues. The Atlanta Braves are just stocked and stacked all up and down. So this, you've got the hometown team there. The Heat aren't playing tonight. You've got the Atlanta Braves who travel well with their fans. You've got the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are the surprise darlings of the National League with 21, if I'm not mistaken, 20 or 21 victories already in this young season. And you've got the hottest team in Major League Baseball, the 24-6 Tampa Bay Rays. I bet you there's not 10,000 fans in either of those two stadiums.
Oh, I got to tell you, I had a chance to come to the game last night. I was a little bit surprised. There were 8,600 attendants here yesterday at Lone Depot Park. Looks like a little bit more of a robust crowd tonight. But yeah, there's some curious trends in Major League Baseball. I'm not sure if you saw the attendance figures from the Seattle Mariners Oakland A's game. They drew 2,600 fans.
Wow.
In a game recently. So some of the attendances league-wide are a little bit interesting. I think, it's unfortunate here in Miami that they're not able to draw better in what is a really cool stadium and an incredible division facing really a national opponent like the Braves. But, you got to hope that as the season goes on and the heat gets the division race gets a little bit more heated, maybe some more attention and more fans will start flocking to the gates.
I don't know about that, man. I mean, no doubt that the Heat are being talk about a surprise team and have a potential to wiggle their way into the Eastern Conference Finals. They sure do have an opportunity, up against the Knicks. But that doesn't matter. Number one, the Heat, are not. They were playing last night. Sandy Alcantara was also playing, who was the reigning Cy Young winner. And when 8,500, 8,600 people show up, it's just. I'll tell you this quick story, and this is my lore, my era. when I already had gone back to Japan, right, after my stint with the Marlins for a couple seasons, and I was still very, very close to one, may rest in power, Wayne Huizenga, who I think was one of the better owners in all of baseball during his time. What ended up happening, and he's also a great Dolphin owner for many, many, many years until his passing. Well, he already had sold it over to Ross & Co. But the bottom line is that I remember he invited me to the 97 World Series. And I happened to be in town, and I came to the 97 World Series against, actually, it wasn't the World Series. It was I think it was the Braves series to go to the World Series, right? Then they beat the Braves in the NLCS, I believe, that year. I believe
that's the famous Levon Hernandez Atlanta Braves 17 strikeout game with Eric Craig behind the plate. Rest in peace. Yep.
And when I'm sitting up there with Mr. Huizenga, who I loved and cared for dearly, and treated me great. He said I said, well, what a season! They had opened up Joe Robbie, Albert, and there were 60,000 people there at a Marlins game. They never had opened up the football stadium, obviously, so they usually sat about 44 to 45, but they opened up 20,000 more seats and made it into a true Joe Robbie football stadium. And I said, this is fantastic. He goes, yeah, but on a Tuesday night with Alex Fernandez pitching this year, with the team that I paid and put together, all these greats, he had paid Chef to stay, he had brought in, all these other great players, Kevin Brown, etc. He goes, I couldn't get 18,000. I could get 15, 17,000 people on a Tuesday night to watch Alex Fernandez. And he goes, I don't know about this. Shortly thereafter, I want to say a season or two later, he sold that team. And I think he was just, it was the South Florida fickle, coming out to the game fans only when it was big time, playoff or World Series, and the fact that baseball is a tricky sport on a day to day, on a Monday or a Tuesday or a nondescript Wednesday to get the crowds out. This isn't New York. It's not Chicago. It's not even, San Francisco. You can't have these Boston, these cities that, thanks, Sully, that just automatically, you have the crowd. Give me your take on that. Is it because there's too much to do in a Florida area to where the money is going to get spent in different ways?
I think it's a couple things, though. I think if you look at that example, 97, the team was 4 years old, right? So think about the composition of people who live all over Florida, both in Tampa Bay area, right? The Tampa Bay Rays are only a 25-year-old franchise. The Marlins at that point were only a 4-year-old franchise. So I think a lot of the baseball fans in the area had allegiances to other teams. Additionally, there was problems with the old Joe Robbie Stadium, where, man, coming to baseball games in the middle of the summer in Miami is either incredibly hot or you're going to sit through a long rain delay. So I think what they got right here at Lone Depot Park is this stadium is outfitted with a retractable roof, which is conducive to, making the viewing experience more pleasurable. Now, is it located in the right part of Miami? That part is still up for debate. And I don't know if they could go back and kind of redesign where they put this facility, if they would have done it the same way. Kind of same thing as, the Rays run into with Tropicana Field, right? Is
100%.
Really the best place to have, Major League Baseball in the Tampa Bay area? I think a lot of people would say that it's not.
As much as I love the St. Pete area, I love the whole Tri-County Bay area and beyond. I am a Central Florida love. I'm in love with it ever since I came here. I'm a Miami guy, Cuban born, Miami raised, but then came over here to college and really kind of been back and forth and owned properties in both, South Florida, but also predominantly all throughout. I've lived everywhere you can think of. St. Pete, Clearwater, Pasco County. I'm in downtown South Tampa now, and I loved every minute of it. But I'm going to tell you right now, the Marlins and that commissioner, the council made an egregious mistake to put the stadium where Joe Robbie where the Orange Bowl is, tear down the Orange Bowl and build that, unless you were going to do something dramatic and kind of, build around it and make it kind of like Atlanta did now with what do they call it over there in the Cobb?
The Battery, the Battery. Atlanta.
Unless you did something like that, which it's just probably unfeasible, especially right now. That was a major mistake. They should have gone somewhere in Broward and where their true fan base is. Same thing here. As much as I love St. Pete, and I really do, and I know the mayor is trying to do a great job of trying to, reconfigure and excite and build up the downtown area all the way to a new stadium. I don't think it's going to work, and I don't think it's going to happen. It needs to be in Tampa, where there's a greater propensity of fan base, probably somewhere near the beloved Bucks, because anywhere you look at it, any major city like Tampa is run really, really through NFL and through football. Unless, we can sit here and we will one day have that dialogue. Is New York run by the Yankees or is it run by the Giants? It's a tricky proposition sometimes because of how the advent of football and how huge it's become, especially because of fantasy football and the gambling thereof, and the added excitement that baseball still hasn't reached that. But I want your thoughts as far as, and look at Oakland. Oakland finally dropped the gauntlet and said, we're out of here. I'm sorry. We've tried to go to San Jose. We tried to do this, tried to do that. It's just not happening. We're following in the footsteps of the Oakland Raiders and we're going over and joining them in Vegas. I don't think that St. Pete will work. I think only Tampa will work. And I think the Marlins made a big mistake. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's really, man, in today's sports world. You got to situate these facilities in the right place. There's too much competition. But I'll tell you this, man. I think both cities, both what you guys see in Tampa Bay, what we see here in Miami, South Florida, there is a hunger for a competitive team. I mean, if you look it caught me by surprise what happened with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I don't just mean their success. I mean how much the city of Tampa has embraced the National Hockey League. I mean, to me, that fan base is right up there. To me, it's like if you talk
snuck
about
up on me, buddy. Albert, it is snuck.
Yeah.
I've lived here for how long? 30 years. Look, it snuck up on me. I didn't realize that I was here when this team became an inception, and I go, it's gonna be nice. Maybe they might win, even when they won in 2004. I was like, that's nice. No. This now it's in the blood of Tampa Bay hockey. As old Bobby Bowden, may rest in power, would have said, who'd have thunk it that a Central Florida, area would take on hockey? I mean, that's for the North, isn't it?
It's not something that's conducive to that area. Obviously, there's transplants, but to me, it's a feverish fan base. I've been in the Tampa area when the postseason is going on, and no pun intended, those fans are electric.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
But it's also the organization. It's also, the actual organization, where it's situated, how they're marketing the team. And obviously then you go into player development and how good your players are, because it does probably begin and end with that. But those other two factors of location and how you're doing and how you're presenting your team on a year-to-year basis, the Tampa Bay Lightning kill it on all three fronts.
Yeah, and you hope that these organizations, the Rays, the Marlins, they kind of try to take notes from teams like
because they haven't, by the way.
Yeah,
they haven't killed it on all those three fronts. Location, you know where they've killed it. The Rays are arguably with the Braves the best roster, deepest roster in Major League Baseball. As far as placing a player in and out, pitcher, hitter, backup shortstop, starting members, the Braves and the Rays are the best. But night and day as far as the other two factors, where you're located and how you're kind of being presented to the community and your fans. So it's we could talk on hours for that one, man. But get back to your game. I really appreciate you coming on. And real quick, Golden State Warriors, LA Lakers. Who you got?
Man, I got to tell you, it's a tough pick to pick against the King, but I got to go with my boys from the Bay Area, man.
Oh, you're killing me, man.
I got to go with the Bay Area.
Even after a game one loss, you're going with Steph Curry.
Listen, the Kings thought they were going to light the beam, right? They thought they were all jacked up, and look what happened at the end of that series. I think that team is too experienced, and they're still. They're veteran, but they're closer to their prime. Steph Curry's 32 years old. LeBron James is going to be 30
Here you go. Before we sign off, I'm going to explain to you what the difference is going to be. It's not Steph. It's not Bron. What are your initials?
AD.
It's AD. So I'll leave you with that. The man is going to dominate this whole series. I'm going to tell you right now before we leave, this may not even be a long series. It may not even go 6. That's how much I feel about it. I think this series may be 5 to the Lakers because of one AD. But our AD here on the Ozone, thanks for visiting with us, brother. We'll hopefully see you or listen to you again next week. Great stuff. And I know I got to yell it out there just to make you happy. Go Braves.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for having me. Talk to you guys next time.
You got it. And thanks for everybody for listening in to the Ozone again. Stay with us. We got some more fantastic shows here on the Chapters Network. For this week, it's the Big O and the Ozone signing off.